is love? Can I get my money back? Can I see the man in charge? If this is love, hey, I want my money back. I want an honorable discharge. Baby, I tell you, one thing is true. You get no younger, but neither are you. So let's not squander our time. Say there's plenty of fish in the sea. Baby, it's the same way for me. Probably both end up with the sharks. If this is love, then I get my money back. Can I see the man in charge? This is love. Hey, I want my money back. I want an honorable discharge. You take the car, baby, I'll take the dogs. You take the wood pen and I'll cut logs. I don't need anyone to cook. Swinging singles and young miter ends, they're both falling to the same ends. Think I'll pick up a reality check. This is love. Can I get my money back? Can I see the man in charge? This is love. Hey, I want my money back. I want an honorable discharge. If I ever find the right one, I'll probably drop the neutron bomb. Yeah, it's too bad you can't get refunds. Same old story, local fuel gone bad. Only trouble is I've been had. Check in the mail. This is love. Can I get my money back? Can I see the man in charge? This is love. Hey, I want my money back. I want an honorable discharge.
Something on 17 features a band on the move, Charlie Pickett and the Eggs, a system for finding your perfect hairstyle, and a look at a baffling disease which strikes the elderly.
Something on 17, it's what's happening on South Florida scene. It's really something, something on 17. It's really something, something on 17.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Friday Something on 17. Rock and roll is featured tonight with a push and a pull to it. In person in our studio, Charlie Pickett and the Eggs. And they are a very special group because they have garnered certainly an interesting award in South Florida that all musicians vie for. It's known as the Carbonell Award. They have an album. We'll show the cover in a few moments. They have followings in Sweden, in England, and certainly in South Florida. And it's our pleasure to have them on the show. And standing to my right is a gentleman that made this statement. He would rather play hard rock than mine it. And there's a story that goes along with that statement also. His name is Charlie Pickett. Charlie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Don. Thank you.
Nice to have you with us. Let's talk about you. I think we could go political science to bulldozing to rock and roll. And how does that all fit in?
I went to school in Gainesville for about 4 years and found a girl I thought was just great, so I married her. And found out she wasn't as good as I thought, so I got out of that and started playing rock and roll.
And you've been in South Florida for many years, and I think many of the bands that we've had on the show, Charlie, they are candid enough to purge their frustration on this stage and say, well, we wish to make an album, and we wish to have fame, and we wish that big break. And it seems, of all that we've had on, you're certainly on target with all those things, Charlie.
Well, we're trying to you know, be as commercially successful as we can, I suppose, without you know, just trying to be commercial. In other words, we play what we want to play.
It makes you happy, and if others like it, that's the key, correct?
Yeah, sort of. I guess we haven't been, like, you know, real successful or anything, but we just keep going sort of higher and higher, and it's been a lot of fun. That's the main thing for us.
Charlie, let's talk about your music. I mentioned earlier a traditional rock and roll band, or rock and roll with a push and a pull, and you're not trying to do, as I interpreted the information I had, you're not trying to be an innovative group. You're just playing standard traditional rock. Would that be correct?
What we try to do is play it as deep as we possibly can, which is, what I mean by that is, as we play as hard into the heart of rock and roll as we can, we're trying to explore how deep you can go into it with just the 3 or 4 of the 5 chords. We play off the beat, and we try to put as much push and pull as we can into the music. We're not trying to make, you know, tremendous push the perimeters of rock and roll or anything like that. We play, you know, more or less from the heart as opposed to a very cerebral approach to it.
Charlie, I've heard the bowels of rock and roll is punk rock.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a funny thing, but most people think that punk rock is some sort of brand new movement. In fact, like, punk rock is just the roots of rock and roll. It's a return to the roots of rock and roll, by the way I looked at it.
Okay, Charlie, let's introduce the other players, and you've been with them a while, and it's always our pleasure not only to introduce the person that puts it all together, but also those that make it possible. I guess that's the best way I could say it. Let's start with the gentleman. Let me hand the microphone to you and introduce the players. The gentleman to your right.
This is Dave Froshnider, our bass player. Gifted individual who writes some of our material.
Thank you for coming, Dave. And behind you?
Johnny Galway. He is the main heart of the band. He's the soul, the guy who keeps it all together. And
finally,
Johnny Salton, Mr. Gifted himself on guitar, who keeps us from becoming more mundane than we can possibly hope to be.
Let's do this. Let's talk for a moment about that prestigious Carbonell Award, and it happened a couple of weeks ago, Charlie, and what does it mean, especially in South Florida, or does it mean anything?
Well, it's the South Florida Entertainment Writers Association Award for the Best Rock Act, and this is the 2nd year we've won it, and we're just real proud to win it. It's sort of one of those things that you can go to, and you've already done your performance, so you can just go and kind of sit back and watch and have a good time. Get dressed up and put your suit on and stuff like that.
Speaking about sitting back and dressing up and watching, they may come out to Finder's Lounge. Well, they don't have to dress up, by the way.
No.
They can wear anything they want, actually. And Hallandale Beach Boulevard, you'll be there tonight and tomorrow night?
Yes, Hallandale Beach Boulevard and US 1 will be there tonight and tomorrow.
Have we seen the album? I wasn't looking at the monitor, but I would like to take a peek. There it is, Charlie Pickett and the Eggs live at the Button, and that's just one of innumerable hot spots that you've played in South Florida.
Yes, yeah, we've played about everywhere that's worth playing.
I mentioned Sweden and England. Why did I do that, Charlie?
We're getting some good reviews in England. We've got fair distribution in Sweden through Open Records. Our record company's got us everywhere in the world, and that's why I guess we're so hopeful.
Let me get out of your way, Charlie. Final thought, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, why the eggs? Where did that come from? I'm sure there's a standardized answer, and I'm ready for it.
It's sort of a silly name nowadays because it sounds like you're some sort of new wave syntho-pop band. And, I mean, that's something we're not. I mean, we're, like, quietly upset about music today. And, I mean, we don't jump up and down and scream about it, but it's just one of those things. I thought the Eggs was a great name because it was like a return to the basics of
Certainly, it's an amoebic form, if it's anything else. Charlie, thank you. Thank you, guys, very much. Tonight at the Finder's Lounge, Hallandale Beach Boulevard, Charlie Pickett and the Eggs. Most interesting music, back to the basics, rock and roll, a push and a pull. More to come for the next 20 minutes. Sit back and enjoy. Won't you? Thank you, Charlie. Nice chatting with you. Let me get out of your way. Stay tuned, because not only much more music, contemporary music, but later we're going to talk about a most interesting disease that is, at this point, they do not have a cure, and we'll talk about that. And also, we're going to talk about hairstyles. Much more to come. Stay with us.
It's a little number about traveling around the country and what it means to be American, I suppose. You know, if you're really one of the true Americans, the old Patriot style. Let's go something like this.
She was a lonely girl, she never had too much to say. Feel right here, it's good tonight. I ain't said nothing today. So call her up on the telephone. Why don't you come on out and play? Run this round, going up and downtown. Let me hear the break of day. It was one of my good ones. I knew it, that she hated right away, but she struggled to say. She got to get away. Still living with her mom and pa. She says that she loves them both. She got me thinking, she's only 22 years old. She wants to bust out, she wants to break out, she wants to bust down the road. I want to break out too, baby, cause she New York or LA. She's not too pretty, she's not too cool. She just might embarrass me in front of some hip fool, but I don't know why. But I pack up my car, and down the road we fly. American travelers, American travelers. It's American travelers, American travelers. New York, Detroit, Chicago, Denver, St. Louis, Albuquerque too. Talking alright, it's real exciting at night. We drove on to Malibu. It was there that it hit me, you know, she was a human being too. Not like all those frozen pretties and the stupid bitches I knew. I've seen the light, I've seen the light. You gotta know a human girl sometime in your life, and you got to know the pleasure that a human girl can give. Never be better than anything you live. A human being, gotta try to find a human being. Gotta try to find a human being. Oh, hey, hey, hey. Come on. Oh, hey, 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 hey. Digging through the trash can at about midnight, looking for something to feel right. Can't shake this feeling on this burning weed. No more money, money to industry. Trash fever hurt so bad, a worst thing that I ever had. And now it's burning me out. Oh, well, I can't get enough. Midnight chipper looking for some action that I never seem to reach. Take me to your secret hideaway, and I'll marry you in my sleep. Flash fever hurt so bad, the worst thing that I ever had. I said, now it's burning, no more cabs. Oh, I can't get enough. Wow.
Thought I had a girl, but I didn't. Thought I had love, but I didn't. Thought I had a girl I could treasure every day. Thought I kissed her madly, but I didn't. Should have kissed her madly, but I didn't. Somehow before I knew it, she had slipped away. I could see why she would leave me all alone. But she left and she took away the key. I should have kissed her madly, but I didn't. I should have told her I loved her, but I didn't. Somehow before I knew it, she slipped away. Thought I had a girl, but I didn't. Thought I had a love, but I didn't. Thought I had a girl I could treasure every day. Place I go without feeling shaky as I can be. I said, no better when my friends with me. When I called my baby, she put me down. But now on, I'm down to Overtown. Overtown, don't let me down. Overtown, don't let me down. Well, I'm feeling shaky like a million bucks. Spent $55 on a pickup truck. All this lousy coke just made me feel down. I'm taking a ride down to Overtown. Overtown, don't let me down. Overtown, don't let me down. Don't let me down. Yeah, see that girl with the blue jeans on. See that boy with the blue on. Things I see her make me cry. See that girl that I desire. See that girl like a jack on fire. Well, that day, when I feel it, actually I'm okay. I know the Overtown Brown is here to stay. Well, it ain't the best, but it's always around. Come on now, Poncho, Overtown. Overtown, don't let me down. Overtown, don't let me down. Let me down. Let me down. Let me down. Overtown, don't let me down. Overtown, don't let me down.
you, Miami. Phantom train, a stepping boat, a phantom train. Looking back, it all's in twain. And off on the job, man, that's what I'm name. Phantom train, stepping boat, a phantom train. To my left, there's old Mark Twain. To my right, Robert Browning, and what's her name? Phantom train, little house through the night. Looking back, yeah, it all seems right. Then I see Arthur McDuff and I ask him, hey, what happened that night? What McDuff had told me, I find hard to believe. 5 cops try to stop him and he still succeeds. Strangest case of suicide I've ever seen.